to pressure them, because once a girl is 25, once she's 30, once she's 35, her eggs are rotten, her eggs are no longer good, this and that. You're 25, where's your private jet? You're 26, where's your mansion in the sky? So how many properties do you own back home in Nigeria? Do you own a property here? What kind of car do you drive? How old are you? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm 29. And she was like, oh, that's old, but it is well. So let me quickly share a story that I heard this week that really made me want to really scream, right? Because the truth is, it is just a season. It's not going to be like this forever. Trust me. It's not always going to be like this. Everything that you're destined to have, you will have at its own time. So there is no need. Hi everyone, how are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lola KG if this is your first time seeing me, and if you are a returning subscriber, hi. Hope your week has been good. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about dealing with the pressure, the pressure to marry, the pressure to have kids, the pressure to acquire this, the pressure for this and that. If you follow me on my Instagram, I already kind of talked about this in a short clip, but I thought I would make a video because I know some of you aren't actually on Instagram, and I feel like this topic needs to be stretched out a bit more, because on Instagram you can only talk for like maybe 2-3 minutes or something, but on here I want to kind of go a little bit deeper into the topic, because it is something that a lot of people experience, but a lot of people don't want to talk about, or they don't want to admit it as well, because of especially in our culture, there's this thing of shame and things like that. But today I'm just going to share some encouragement and I guess some tips on how to kind of navigate that season. During our wedding planning, someone actually said to me, she asked me, oh, how old are you? You know what, before I even go into it, I think I should just state here that this video is not for everyone, because I feel like not everyone can relate. It's only some people that sadly can relate to this, and I'm making this video just for you, to make you know, or to let you know that you are not alone, and what you're feeling and what you are going through and experiencing is normal, and there's other people in the world that also experiencing it. Because I think once you know that, it makes things a bit better. It makes you feel a bit better, and you're able to kind of cope and deal with the situation a bit better, right? Okay, so let's get back to what I was saying earlier. So during our wedding process, someone actually asked me, and she said, oh, look, how old are you? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm 29. And she was like, oh, that's old, but it is well. And I was kind of like, up to that point, I didn't even think about, my age getting, like, I didn't think that, 29 was old. And I still don't think 29, being 29 as a woman is, you are really old or whatever. But I know in some people's culture and in some people's families, getting married at 29 is, you are just older than old. But I know if you're watching this video, you might be 29, 30 and upwards, okay? And I want to share some things with you to let you know that these comments, they are going to keep on coming. And I want to let you know that it never ever stops, because each time you achieve that thing, you will notice that there's another thing to achieve. So it's like a never-ending cycle. It's a never-ending pressure. Once you finish uni, the next thing is, when are you going to get married? You get married. When are you going to have kids? You have, a child. They ask you, when is the next child? You have 2 children. They ask you, oh, you need another one. After that, they ask you, oh, you need another one. And then they start the pressure for you to start acquiring things. Oh, you need to buy this. You need to own this. You need, it's a never ending pressure. And I think for me, because I don't pressure people, or I don't put that pressure on people, I feel like then I don't have to like receive it. Like I don't need to receive it or accept it. I don't go around pressuring people and asking them, oh, you're 25, where's your private jet? You're 26, where's your mansion in the sky? So I just feel like it's very, very weird. And I know some people are very like, emotionally aware, emotionally intelligent, and they know not to, say certain things. Like it's something I also shared in that video on Instagram, where, some people, they will see a newly married couple, and the next thing you want to be asking them is, oh, when are you going to have a child? Don't leave it too late. And for me, I'm like, that is not in your place. Even if you're really close to the person, I feel like there's an emotionally intelligent way to ask or to say something. But just saying, oh, when are you going to have a child? Just hurry up, oh, is not the right way, because you don't know what that couple is going through. You don't know what that woman is going through. You don't know if that's her third miscarriage that she just had last night, and you've now resurrected as our Lord and Savior to be asking her, when are you going to have a child? And I feel like when you ask these questions, because you're not like emotionally aware, or you're not really deep in it, you don't understand the gravity of this question that you're constantly asking people. And if you get this pressure, you will understand exactly what I'm saying. You see at social events, you see aunties and uncles and people asking, oh, you're at this wedding, you're next, oh, you better be next, oh. And you even be putting pressure, you'll be putting force in it, you better be next. Like, you don't even know what the person is going through. Maybe they just broke up with their partner. You don't know if people are going through things that your mind cannot even imagine. So I feel like it's important to talk about these things, to make it like a normal conversation, for you to know that, number one, it is not okay for you to be receiving this pressure, and it is not okay for you to be asking someone these questions, because it's just not. Let me just leave it at that. So let me quickly share a story that I heard this week that really made me want to really scream, right? So this man on Instagram, if I can find the video, because I was just kind of like swiping, I will attach it in the description box, and you can check it out. So basically, this man was saying how he was asking about like a co-worker, and then they were telling him that, oh, that co-worker is actually in hospital at the moment. And he was kind of like, oh, why? What happened? Is he okay? And they said basically what started it was, he was at work with another, colleague. And this colleague was telling this guy that's in hospital, he was saying to him that, oh, how many years have you been in the UK? And the guy that's in hospital is like, oh, I've been in the UK for 12 years. And this other man was like, oh, have you brought your children? Have you brought your family? How many properties do you own back home in Nigeria? Do you own a property here? What kind of car do you drive? And before you know what was going on, the man started like hyperventilating and had to end up, going to A&E. So you can see the gravity of what we're talking about today. You might just think that, oh, I'm just asking, is it not just normal, to just ask, when are you going to get married? What's the big deal? But no, it's not, because you don't know what that person is going through. You don't know the amount of heartbreaks. You don't know the prayers. Okay. So you can see from that little story I told you that, it's not just words. When you keep asking people, have they done this? Have they done that? You're putting pressure on them, and it can actually affect their health, and it can actually cause death. Yes, because, this man, he's lucky he's still alive. But what if he was already having heart issues, and then he ended up, maybe having a stroke or having a heart attack, and he ended up dying, all from how many days have you got? Have you done this? Have you done that? So let's just be guided. I know sometimes you don't think about the impact of these things, but let's just, learn to be more emotionally aware, emotionally intelligent. My thing is, there's no rush, okay? I want you to know that there's no, because for me, where are you running to? Like, I always, like, even when I was single, that was always in my mind, like, where are you running to? When you were younger, you would be like, oh, I can't wait to be older. I can't wait to be 20. I can't wait to be 25. I can't wait to be 30. And then you're at that age and you're like, where was I running to really? Like, as you get older, 20, 30, it is death that is at the end. So where are you running to? I'm sure you know that when you die, marriage doesn't matter. Children, they will not matter. All your earthly possessions, your cars, your clothes, your jewelry, your gold, none of them are going to matter. So where are we really running to? Can you see? And again, I'm not saying these things aren't nice. These things are blessings. I feel like children are blessings. Marriage is a blessing. These things are great to have. But I feel like not at the expense of, your mental health or your physical health or whatever. I also want you to know that we all have different timelines in life. If you're a person of faith, you know that the higher power, the creator, whoever that is for you, has already kind of, programmed our life in season and phases. So every human being is so different. We're not all the same. You notice that even in your friend's life, you see that certain things happen at different times. Sometimes it can happen at the same time, but usually different things happen in different people's lives at different times. And that is just the way, life is, So you can't be, comparing yourself to this person that, oh, she's only 22 and she's already married. You don't know the future of that person. I'm not trying to sound like a prophet of doom or anything, but you will hear crazy stories out there on social media. You can get married at 22 and by 25, the person is divorced. So where exactly was that person running to at 22? You can acquire, you've seen, multimillionaires, they've built their company up to, a very high level, and then something happens, maybe it's a recession or whatever, and then they lose everything and then they jump over the bridge and commit suicide. Do you get what I mean? It's like, if you're a person of faith, you really get what I'm talking about, because the scriptures even tells us about the seasons and timings in life. Like, life is in phases and everyone has their own timing. So when something is happening, when your friend is getting married, like, you celebrate the person, you're happy for them. You don't start getting angry and bitter and, try to sabotage their ceremony. No, you say to God that, oh, as I'm helping this person out, God, please help me find my own person. You do it with a heart of joy, and I feel like that's how to, also navigate, that pressure or, this season. Because the truth is, it is just a season. It's not going to be like this forever. Trust me. It's not always going to be like this. Everything that you're destined to have, you will have at its own time. So there is no need. I don't want you to know that we are all graced for different things. Some people are just not destined for certain things because, of just different reasons. You might be praying that, oh, I want this particular kind of job, or I want this particular kind of car. But God knows that if it gives that thing to you, it could end your life. It could cut your life short. It could cause other things. But because we don't see like the bigger picture, it's hard for us to like, really just pause and take it in that moment. The truth of the matter is, there's no, medal for the first person that does this, or the first person that does that, that has a child, or the first person that got married. There's no medal anywhere. The first person that brought, let me not even go into that. Run your own race, run in your own lane, and know that everything will happen in its own time. And this is not to say that, oh, you just sit back and do nothing, because I believe that whatever it is that you want, you can also work towards it. If it's finding the person that you love, you can, put yourself out there, go on dating apps, tell maybe people around you to, to be on the lookout for you. You can take small steps, while you're doing that, hopefully God will meet you, and He will make it happen. And if it's whatever it is, I just want you to know that you can work towards it, without, letting the pressure, cause you to, do the wrong thing. Because I feel like this is why I'm making this video, because I'm realizing that that pressure is so dangerous, because it can cause you to do things that you're not supposed to do. It can cause you to, maybe even have kids at the wrong time, pick the wrong partner, stay in the wrong job, build the wrong thing. Like, it can cause you to do so many wrong things. So it's so important for you to, yes, feel the pressure, but don't let the pressure get into you and make you do things that you shouldn't. Lastly, I'm going to say this because I can feel it in my spirit, soul, and body. I can hear somebody shouting, oh, but the reason why I pressure young girls to get married early is because to pressure them, because once a girl is 25, once she's 30, once she's 35, her eggs are rotten, her eggs are no longer good, this and that. Really? Hey, like, I listened to a message years ago, and it really stuck in my mind. And basically the preacher was talking about how he was praying for a couple who they were waiting on God for a child, and the woman was like wailing and crying and everything, and the woman was telling the pastor, oh, this is what the doctor said, the doctor said this, the doctor said it cannot happen, that this, because of this. And then the pastor said that he literally had to tell the woman that, is the doctor God? Like, who has the final say? Is it the doctor? Is it you? Or is it God? And I want you to also have that mindset that God has the final say. There are people who are 45, who are 50, that's when they start having their child. There are people who are 55, and that is when they meet the love of their life, who will treat them, cherish them, make them happy, for the rest of their life. So don't, a lot of people, they say, oh yeah, timing, because our body move differently. Like, all that rubbish is not our concern. Yes, we can have it in mind, right? But as people of faith, if we indeed trust in God, if we indeed have faith in God, then let's trust him that at the right time things will happen. And let's not pressure people that they must do certain thing at certain age because of certain things, because you are not their God. I'm just trying to let you know that things happen outside of your control, because you're not God and you're not the creator of yourself or other people, right? So I want you to have that at the back of your mind, that God is the ultimate provider. Trust in God. Put your trust in him and him alone. Do not be pressured into going into things that you shouldn't be because of anyone. If you don't put pressure on other people, then don't expect the pressure, okay? Anyways, guys, that's the end of this video. I hope you've been encouraged, because that's the aim of this video, to encourage you and let you know that you're not alone in how you're feeling. It is absolutely normal, and I want you to be bold and to be strong in this season of your life. So if this is the kind of content that you like, make sure you like this video first of all, and also click that subscribe button, and also share your thoughts in the comment section. Don't worry, nobody's coming to bite you, nobody's coming to harm you. All right, so that's the end of this video, guys. I will see you next weekend. Take care of yourself. Feel free to reach out to me on my email, which will be in the description box below, or you can always, as usual, reach out to me on Instagram in my DM. Okay, all right, guys, bye.